Welcome home to St. Anne's. We want you to know that you're welcome to join us at 10 a.m. on Sundays. Please be sure to hit subscribe to receive our sermons. We can't wait to meet you.
Oh, so much gear. So much gear. You want to know why I'm glad I don't live in prairie days? There's just so much gear. And then you add our gear, and there's a lot of gear. So let's talk about the gospel today, because I think for those of us as Christians, we want to think that being a Christian is really, really complicated. There are all these rules and regulations. That's why we have so many denominations, right? Because there's so many different ways to be a Christian. And I think we've made things more complicated than they need to be. And here's the thing. People like to blame religions for why there's war and hatred. No, there's war and hatred because there are humans. Religion has nothing to do with it. There's God, and it's very simple. It's very straightforward. But then we come in here and we're like, yeah, but to be part of this Christian church, you got to do these things, and you got to believe these things. And to be part of that church over there, you got to believe these things. And then we get even more into it when we bring in other religions. Well, but those people over there, they think that, and we over here, we think this, and we get all these rules and all these complicated pieces to it. But it really is as simple as what we hear today. There's one God. Love one God. Commit your entire life, every breath, every step, every thought to that one God. Second, love everyone else as much as you love yourself. That's it. It's that simple. It is that simple. And I could preach for hours and hours about this, because the reality is it's that simple, but it's also that hard. And that is very, very difficult to do. But really, when you get down to the core tenets of most faith traditions, it's really that simple. You commit your entire life to the divine because you have been gifted something so far beyond what we can comprehend that if we even grasp a picture of it, we could not live without giving thanks constantly and devoting our life to that. And part of loving that Creator is loving all that Creator created. All of creation, which means every single human. So quick reminder, you only love God as much as you love the person you like the least. Oof, that's hard. I'm going to say it again because it's so hard to hear. We only love God as much as we love the person we dislike the most. Ooh, that's hard. So while it is very, very simple, and Jesus makes it clear, and even the Jewish tradition, it is that simple. We come up with all these other rules and stuff that are supposed to help us do those things. All the purity laws and all the rules that churches have, all these things are all meant to assist us in loving God and loving one another. So if it's not about loving God and loving one another, it's not about God. And it's not about Christianity. It's not about faith. It's not about religion. Because at our very core, at our very DNA, it is those two things. How do I live every breath committed to the one who created me? And in doing that, if I'm doing that really truly, how am I living every breath committed to God's creation? How do I love? How do I live in love? It is that simple. And it is that hard. Because I don't know if you've met humans or not, but we're really hard to love. And all of us are. Like, there's a reason we get distracted by the rules. You want to know why we get distracted by the rules? Because it's easier. Rules are easy. If I follow these rules, I get this carrot. If I say these words and these prayers in this order, God will send me to heaven and there's going to be streets of gold and all sorts of stuff. May I just tell you, none of that's like biblically accurate. We just like come up with all that stuff because it sounds good. I mean, I'm just going to tell you, in heaven, there's going to be a whole lot of coffee and a whole lot of chocolate. That's my heaven. I don't know where you all are going, but that's my heaven. Now, this stuff is completely ridiculous. None of that even matters. None of that matters, because you want to know what really matters? These two things. A creator who loves us so incredibly much that he or she, it, whatever makes you feel comfortable, is willing to sacrifice to be one of us. That's a big deal. Because, I don't know, if I were God, I don't think I'd want to be hanging out with humans. I'd just stay up where God is, where things are nice, and I'd be like, well, we're going to let the humans fight it out. And they'll figure it out. But no, because God understands us and loves us so much that God sends Christ to be with us. That's a big deal. Think about the things that we claim to believe. Think about them briefly. It's a big deal. And how do we not live a life completely committed to that? If we really truly believe those things, we would live a life committed to them. But it's easier to get distracted by the rules, isn't it? The rules exist because they help us. They help us love together. They help us live together. It was never about the rules. It was never about the rules. It was about these two things. And God knows that it is hard. God knows it is hard to love God. And God knows that it is hard to love God's creation because, oh man, I've got some questions when I die. Like, roaches? What's up with roaches? But here's the deal. To love God, we love all of God's creation. It is that simple and that hard. And I'll tell you an example, because love doesn't make sense. It's Halloween. Happy Halloween, y'all. I don't normally dress like this. Because, it's complicated. But you know what I think is so fascinating? That we as a culture are willing to do the most bizarre things for society. Trick-or-treating is bizarre. It is so bizarre. You don't know these people. These people are going to show up at my house tonight, and I'm going to give them candy. For no apparent reason. I went to Costco, and I got a big old bag of candy. I paid money, and I bought all this candy, that my husband hasn't actually eaten yet. And these people are going to come to my door, and they're going to knock on it. I don't know who they are. And you want to know what? I don't care. That's fine. I'm going to give them candy. Think about that. That's bizarre, isn't it? It is bizarre that we as a culture have Santa Claus. It is bizarre that we are committed to stopping at stop signs for no apparent reason, but because we understand that those other people's lives matter. And I'm going to hand out candy today because it's fun. Because seeing little kids happy is fun. It makes no sense. That is love. If you are willing to do something for other humans that makes no apparent sense, but because it will bring happiness and joy or safety and security, that's what this is all about. It's not about rules and regulations. It's not about special prayers and all the this and that and all the other stuff that we add to it. It's about looking into the eyes of another human and saying, you matter as much as I matter. Here's a Snickers. And if you want to bring a Snickers by my house, that's fine too.
We want you
at my
to
house,
know
we
that you're
dig
welcome
through
to
that
join
Costco
us
bag and take out
Sundays.
the
Please be
favorites
sure to
that
hit
you need to set
subscribe to
aside.
receive our sermons.
Because you want to
We can't wait to
all
meet you.